Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another episode of the RankKing's Court. Live as always, Tuesdays, 6:30 on Twitch. Oracle Vo, Noble Knight Greg, and the Rank King, Austin Moorhead himself, here to talk to you all things that need ranked.
Everything that needs ranked.
Yeah, that's
all
everything.
things you can think of.
Do a lot of things need ranked, or do we just need Austin to have something to do on a Tuesday?
They don't need ranked, but you can rank everything.
Yeah, I suppose
If you're not ranking things, you're missing out on life. Simple as that.
Huh.
And you can rank things outside. You can rank things
new
inside.
life slogan I never thought I needed in my
Outside, inside.
Denny, if I was a rat, I couldn't talk.
Oh, damn.
Well, unless you were in a Disney cartoon, because they talk.
Yeah, well,
like Remy, Ratatouille.
I was thinking of the guy from Flushed Away. You guys remember that movie?
I don't believe so.
An obscure DreamWorks movie versus one of the more well-known Pixar movies, bud. Come on.
It was like a very wealthy rat living in this wealthy estate. He gets flushed down a toilet and has to find his way back home in like the various undergrounds of the sewer system. So it's pretty funny, if I'm not gonna lie. So, but yes, as always, we are here once again. I am going to drink this seltzer.
While you do that, we got 100 bits from a Zane saying we love Austin.
Boy, that's the first
Is that
time.
Like your fake account?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the first time we've heard that on this show.
No one actually, first time chat viewer. So
yeah. I mean, we're just now realizing that Austin actually has more friends than we thought. So
Enough. No, I'm actually trying the green apple seltzer tonight. It's actually not bad.
That does not sound pleasant at all, bud.
No, surprisingly, it's not that bad. You think it would be a lot more sour than it is, but it has.
Yeah.
It's almost like just actually biting into a green apple itself. It's not bad. So very, very fluid. That actually might be my favorite, actually, so far out of the three I've tried so far, between the blue raspberry and the lemon. So, but let's talk about what we did a little bit last week and rewind real quick. Where are y'all located this evening?
That was the lamest recording voice I've ever.
Well, if you would remember being a wrestling fan, it's a John Cena bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Doctor of Thugonomics did something a little bit better than that. But while you are hiding in your palatial state up north in northern of the state we reside in, RankKing's Court is live today from the Union Fitness Studios, located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out, with a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe that it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach, then uphold the values to make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today to sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength. There you go.
As always, boys. As always. Let's talk a little bit about last week. Last week, we had my buddy Jared on. We discussed all things Dance Gavin Dance, a.k.a. my favorite band under the sun and in the world. They're just the best. If you have different opinions, you're welcome to have them, but they're wrong.
You should give them a chance.
I've tried. I can't.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Because that night I went home, listened to them on the way home. Pretty good stuff. Some of the songs I didn't know, I looked them up. But what was the Chucky versus the Giant Tortoise? I'm starting to love that one.
It's amazing. It's like one of the best opening songs that you can have.
Yeah.
For a track. But if I remember correctly, something has happened for the first time ever on the RankKing's Court. There was something with the voting, and nobody won.
It was a tie.
Nobody lost?
It was a tie.
Yeah.
It was a tie.
Usually it goes the opposite route of you, but apparently this week was your lucky week.
I will admit I voted for Jared this time.
Oh.
That's a little bit of bias. But okay, so that's interesting, right? Because we've never had a tie on the show before. And
well, here's the thing, Austin. People clearly knew that you knew your stuff when it came to this, so they were probably more likely to lean your way in this sense.
And Phoenix says Weezer is way better. What are your thoughts on that?
I do love me some Weezer. I need to see them
I
live.
did. So I did see Weezer live. Fantastic band. They were actually the opening act of the
Crazy.
yeah, right, of like with Fall Out Boy and
Green Day.
Green Day,
Yeah.
obviously,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
just absolutely insane. I enjoy Weezer to pass the time. They're good. Uh, so yeah, a tie that always ruffles my feathers when
I
there's a
did
tie.
like how you had We Own the Night on your list, though.
Yeah,
do
see,
like that one.
I wanted almost a little bit to go Jared's route where I picked like proverbial favorites that were unknown to people. A lot of the time, a lot of his were from the original Downtown Battle Mountain and Downtown Battle Mountain 2, from where Johnny Craig was the lead vocalist. Obviously, when we had our debate, he made the point that Johnny Craig was the best vocalist. I knew that's the way that he was going to swing. So it's just, that was one of the original first songs I heard was We on the Night. And I know a lot of people, they're like, this is overplayed. It slaps every time, man. It just does. So can't fault it. So what we got in for you
didn't lose, so
you didn't lose.
That's true.
That's something to be proud of, bud. You did not lose.
That is true. Let's focus in on tonight's topic, though. A childhood favorite of one Greg right here. You can imagine.
Grew up with it, bud. Grew up with it.
A lot of people did, man. You can find this on Boomerang and all other I guess you could find out I know HBO Max. I don't know if they have the old stuff, but I know they have
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's under Warner Media, which I believe HBO Max houses. So that's everything. Yeah.
True. So tonight, guys, we are talking all things Scooby-Doo. I thought this would be a very, very fun topic, being that it's just something. When I said I made the announcement when we we're doing the fantasy football show and everything, which I don't know if we call it fantasy football show anymore, but football show. I made the announcement that we're going to go back to basics for a little bit. And this is what I meant, back to basics, back to when, cartoons were not supposed to be great, but they were great in their retrospective. Nowadays,
when you really think too much,
no, it was just
you enjoy it,
right?
You sit there and watch.
It was episodic. It was the exact same thing. You knew what to expect over and over, and it always was good.
Yeah, because I actually watched a couple episodes and I sat there like a kid. I was just sitting there like this, staring at the TV.
It's so great.
Zoned in on it.
It's so great. You don't have to think about anything. There's not any overarching theme or anything like that. It's just the same type of story every single week, and it's enjoyable and it's fun.
Greg, I think Vo just lied to us. He said that when he was a kid, he would sit down in front of the TV. Did you know Vo to be in front of the TV much when he was a kid?
He was outside.
The premise,
I watched Nickelodeon.
The premise that was given around was that Vo was an outside kid. That he lived outside.
I watched the good stuff.
I'm going to point this out too real quick. I'm pretty sure Scooby-Doo was the first cartoon I ever watched.
I would. So that's tough. I don't know if it was for me.
Yeah.
I want to say it was on something on Cartoon Network. It might have been. Could have been Foster's. That's too new.
That's way too new, bud.
I'm trying to. I mean,
honestly, we did not have a TV outside. It was inside.
Nah, they're
so
not.
I had to come in sometimes. You can't stay out all the time.
Well, I mean,
that's true.
Your parents would have probably enjoyed that, though. In fairness, so.
That's true. That's
they
true.
Held it up to the window, and I just stood outside and just stared.
It honestly might have.
Doing that.
It honestly might have been Dexter's Lab. It might have. That's probably might have been my first cartoon I watched. It might have been between that and Johnny Bravo. Honestly, I don't know why, but I think I just remember the whole muscle movements and the noises he would make when he would do it.
Fun fact: there was a crossover episode of Scooby-Doo and Johnny Bravo, actually. So yeah, I can appreciate that, bud.
So, yeah, we're going back to basics for this one. This show, it gave you a sense of it was simply almost like a mystery, a murder mystery without the murder. In fact, this was going back to, when kind of almost going back to our previous episodes we've done. We talked about Stranger Things. That was kind of what the kids were doing in a sense, basis off Scooby-Doo of finding mysteries and solving them. And
very supernatural feel. With fun fact, another crossover episode with Scooby-Doo. Just pointing that out there.
Pointing it out. The multitude of crossovers. They've done one with the WWE, which I thought was okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they they had to wrestle for the belt against Cade because there was silly. But yeah, Scooby-Doo tonight, guys. I'm very, very excited. Let's start right off the back with probably a very controversial ranking, but we're gonna do it.
I
So
have a funny feeling
Radical,
that's the case.
Oh yeah, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for Radical ranking number 1. All right, so the first Radical ranking that we're going to get into, we are going to rank the gang themselves.
I'm curious to see what your
what your reasoning.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious. Yeah. Like, what are the parameters for how you did this?
So yes, it goes on a multitude of different things. Could be usefulness. It could be like how they've contributed to the gang themselves, or it could just be a radical likeness that I have of the actual character themselves. But yes, I was like, there's 5 of them.
Simple.
There's 5.
Simple.
Very simple. Let's start off. I know controversy right off the back. Number 5.
Go ahead.
Number 5, we're going with Daphne.
It's controversial because you don't like redheads.
No, I knew that was gonna come up. I knew it was gonna come up. No.
When I first saw that, I was like, "Oh, here we go!" Like,
gingers are people too, bud. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Here's my reasoning before you all spout off on this redhead hatred that I supposedly have. What has Daphne contributed to the gang whatsoever?
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. I just thought it was funny.
In all seriousness, that is kind of like
5.
if you see the Scooby-Doo movie, which we'll probably talk about another time later. But that's like a running joke in that movie, is that like she's the one that always gets captured and stuff.
Didn't do anything.
Like, yeah, so like it's like the running theme in that movie too. So, but yeah, you're not wrong. Like if you think about every single character, they have their role clearly defined. Daphne doesn't really have a role defined.
It's really tough because this is not just based off like the original cartoon. Like I actually wanted to exclude like the movie premises of Scooby-Doo from this because I wanted to feel like this was like more of the old bringing. Like this was like the old age of
Austin,
like cartoon.
I get it, but like, I'm just pointing it out that like you don't.
It is a running joke.
That's the only character shift from her is literally the movie. That's it. Everything else is like it's the same thing, but there's never been like a true role defined for her.
The way that I always point this out, she is the stereotypical popular kid that hangs out with the nerds.
Yeah,
that's fair. The Whitens don't like this one though. Mama Whiten said what, and then Chipper said, "If there's no Daphne, there isn't a show."
I agree with Chipper in that case.
Okay,
Like,
I mean, if there's any not one of them, there isn't a show.
She literally is dead weight. So, 5 makes sense. It's just funny because of your past history with other rankings.
Listen. I knew it was gonna come up, but she doesn't do like she puts her makeup on, looks all pretty, and gets caught. We talked about this for a multitude of shows. I'll bring it up again. She's the Mokuba of Scooby-Doo. All she does is get caught.
Which is kind of weird because there's a certain other character or characters that are supposed to be the bait, which doesn't make sense how that works out.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daphne at 5, and this is probably going to be the most controversial take is number 4. I'm going with Velma.
What? You're out of your mind. You are out of your mind.
I'm going with Velma.
Out of your mind. No. Come on.
Here's the thing.
You're out of your mind.
What's your reasoning for this one?
The reasoning for this. She is a brilliant, brilliant genius. You take off her glasses. She's absolutely useless.
Okay.
Every single episode. I can't find my glasses. Put in some contact lenses.
They weren't a thing back then, were they?
I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry. You're making fun of someone with a sight impairment? How dare you?
I'm making fun of someone that doesn't take action to correct the sight.
You're a woman hater.
Yeah, I am.
Your integrity is in question.
Austin, this is not cool, man. You are. Yeah, seriously.
She has a huge Achilles heel that I cannot just argue. It happens almost, and here's the thing. It'd be fine if it was 1 or 2. It happens every single episode.
We literally just talked about how Scooby-Doo is episodic in every way. So
I
what were
know.
you expecting?
Here's the thing, though. They had tape back then. Tape your glasses to your head. What's wrong with you? You can't. As brilliant as she is.
Goggles.
Yeah, she needs the what is it, the rec specs or something like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Mama
So
White
I mean,
says first it's redheads, then it's women with glasses.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeez.
This rankings
I'm
offer
learning so much more
backstory.
about you now, Austin. This is awful. So brutal. Daphne, I can understand being 5, but Vilma at 4, now you just like you're
it
out of your mind.
happens. As smart as she is, she ignores her single flaw every single time. And it costs them how many times? How many times does a plan go into perspective?
Clearly doesn't matter because they always catch the person in the end, so...
By accident!
Yeah, well, honestly, the first episode, she dropped her glasses and the person was right there. He was caught already, and she thought he was Shaggy. She didn't have her glasses on, so...
Yeah.
I know that they're not making any money off getting any of these mysteries done, but fix your eyes, girl. Like, come on.
It's kind of hard.
Surgery, right?
It's kind of hard to be able to get glasses corrected when you live in a van and are driving around all the time. You know.
You live in a van down by the river. I understand.
Thank you. That was good.
But yeah, man, just tape them. Just tape them to your head. That single thing fixes every flaw from every single episode moving forward, and then she would be number 1. But it makes no sense how she's so brilliant and ignores this flaw every single time, and it constantly gets people in terror. It makes no sense.
No, you're out of your mind, Austin. Oh my God.
No, it's too much of a plot thing to ignore. It's just ignorance at this point. Number 3, we're gonna go with the plan master, the man with the ascot himself. This is Fred.
Huh. Okay.
The guy that's like, oh, you guys go that way. Me and Daphne will go this way.
And
Every single
That's
episode.
funny. That's funny. Okay, I will give you that. But I don't know, man. There's got to be something to be said for at least the person that kind of dictates how everything goes, because you kind of need that, you know?
So here's the thing. I would argue if we were going off of the only season, which was the beginning.
The very
However,
first episode, he is a very strong character. I will give you that.
Yeah. But not only that, let's go to the later shows where he is a brilliant master in the form of traps. Like, all he wants to do is just set traps. He's like, oh, let's set this trap for the ghost. He walks in the house. Oh, this place would be great for traps. Like, he's a thinking man. Like, he knows what needs to be done, and he's the leader of the entire gang himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And they even touch base on this in the movies, like we pointed out with Daphne not being able to fight or do anything.
Yeah.
But we point this out in the movies where me and Daphne will go this way and you guys will go this way. And then I think it was Shaggy's like, why don't we go with Daphne? Why are you always going with Daphne? Like, this is a little.
Well,
this is a little ridiculous.
also in the movie too, you really understand like how much of a dick Fred is.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean,
Yeah.
that could be based on the character of the actor who played him, which
Yeah.
Freddie.
The comments
Freddie
say,
Prinze Jr. Yeah.
why is he
Yeah.
third if you're hyping him up so much?
Stop. He's third for a reason. As much of a leader as he is, his arrogance and ignorance do get in the way at times of how he believes that everything's always going to work out. And we know for a fact it never works out.
He's an optimist. There's nothing wrong with that. I can appreciate that.
Exactly. So get off my hate for it. He's at number 3. Number 2, like Zoinks, man, it's Shaggy.
Listen, I love Shaggy. Don't get me wrong. He's everyone's favorite stoner, and yes, he is a stoner. We can all like agree to this. There's no like denying it anymore about this, but he's literally bait, and he runs around. If you're gonna put the argument in that he tires out the villain, so the villain can eventually get caught.
That's a good point.
Sure,
That's a good point.
sure, that's fair. But
You're leading up to it.
but he has no bravery. You know,
Doesn't mean
That's also
He's
something.
basically there for entertainment purposes.
I agree, and he is very entertaining. But I'm literally just pointing that out there, man. Like,
So would you be brave if every time you were offered up as bait and no one else offered themselves up? I think you'd be pretty a little agitated at this point, but you go along with it because you're a happy, lucky Zoinks man that only uses 1% of his power level.
yeah, but he's also a stoner, so he probably just enjoys it. It doesn't bother him, I guess, as much.
We have a comment saying that he should be number 1.
Comic relief plays a big part in this, guys. And with this, Shaggy's one of the main ones, man. I mean, like, I don't know what episode it was, but it was, I think it might have been when they go to the island, that episode where they're trying to figure out the mansion mystery. And they're just like, what's that noise? Like, oh, it's just Scoob gnawing down on a sandwich. Oh, like, you don't see that anymore, man.
I will give you the one. There are some like TV movies that they've done, like with when it's like him, Scooby and Scrappy, and it's like the Boo Brothers or the Curse of the Werewolf or something like that. Like when he's like the main guy, I will give you that. He actually does show leadership in those and stuff like that. So I can give you credit for that. But for the main 5 though, he's like he's almost kind of like, you know, he's not taken seriously.
Where would you have him on your list?
I need to see like the rest of this before I give my opinion.
There's one left, Craig.
I know. I want to hear his opinion. I want to hear his number one reason for.
He's like, I need to see the rest.
Yeah, I got it. I want to make sure he doesn't pull like a fast one on us and actually has like another potential one in there at number 1.
I know. It's no question. I mean, the name is literally in the show. Right. Number 1, big old Scooby-Doo. He's a dog.
The newer version, by the way.
Oh yeah. Number 1, he's a dog that can talk. So. Okay, he's a dog that can be under.
Talk.
That's true.
We just don't understand.
That's also very accurate.
So he has the ability, and that, speaking for itself, might not show bravery, but it does show intelligence in a dog. So
well, he also doesn't know he's a dog.
Dog? Where?
Exactly. So I don't know what you mean by intelligence, bud.
Hey, if a dog thinks he's a human, that's even more. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. But the premise of that, Chip was saying that without Daphne, there is no Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Without Scooby-Doo, there is no Scooby-Doo. It's just it's just another show about some teenagers getting high and solving mysteries.
I'm pretty sure Shaggy's the only one that does that.
True.
Yeah.
Don't expect him to hide any to not put any Scooby snacks in someone else's, you know. That's just saying.
Shout out to Phoenix for his subscription at tier 1 level.
Thank you. We appreciate
that.
Appreciate that.
Hopefully you liked Austin's top 5 here. So, most people usually don't agree with it, but
it's because they don't possess the ability to understand. They don't possess the ability to understand. They just see it and automatically hate it. Learn the reasoning, learn the dialect, learn.
Oh, wow.
Power.
They said Austin has earned way more than a sub.
Pretty sure this person might be a little high. Probably no.
This is definitely Austin's burner.
Oh, it has to be. He's definitely like, we're not.
Guys, I literally. Okay. No, so that is the gang ranked, and it's properly placed, and it's to the T. You can argue any other way, you'll be wrong.
And you had Daphne 5 for.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if the saying it to a T works because I don't think there's a T in anyone's name.
No, PH. I had to think about it for a second. Had to think about it. No, there is not. So, all right. Being that that's the case, let's move on to radical ranking number 2. All right. Second radical ranking we're getting into tonight, guys. we are going to rank the Scooby-Doo animated movies.
Austin, I'm very curious about this one because I'm curious about your parameters. Are these like the direct to VHS DVD ones? Are these like the 2-hour specials that you would see on Cartoon Network late at night or something like that? Is this the new Scooby-Doo movies and stuff that had like the celebrities in it and stuff like that? Like, what is the actual parameter for this one?
So the parameter is that these are essentially the old like VHS DVDs that were out. I think if you put like the newly animated ones in, it gets a little cloudy and everything, especially with Scoob just being released.
Right.
So, yeah, these are just the ones that we cherish. These are the old ones that you went to a Blockbuster or anything and you picked this up, with your favorite candy and popcorn. You went home and you watched it with your family. That's just what it was. That's what it was to me anyway. It could have been something entirely different, but these hold a strong aspect of childhood in me. So I took my time and I understood that all of these are in their proper place.
And it is your show, so you get to pick.
I hope so.
You get to pick what you want to rank.
Yeah.
Let's start off with number 5. One that I thought was okay, and it's okay being that it's in my number 5. Number 5, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders.
Ooh. I forgot about this one. This is, you know what, Austin? I appreciate this one, especially because I'm trying to remember like the backstory because I haven't seen this one in forever. But I always did think it was kind of cool because I don't think they ever did like an alien themed villain before.
No, it was so premise is that they are, I believe, near Area 51.
Right.
And they are there simply as like touring, which they always are. Have you guys noticed this? They're just driving along and they find like, oh, look at that. And then something happens and there's the movie. The premise is that, things are going awry. There are 2 aliens that are on the loose. And the one thing that puts this at number 5 for me, instead of like not even being on the list, was the twist at the end. So obviously the twist not being that the aliens weren't actually aliens, but that the love interest for this movie between not only Shaggy, but Scooby, I can't remember what her name was, but it's her and a dog. Mm-hmm. And they actually turn out to be real aliens. Like, mind blown. Like, I was just like, and at the same point, I'm like, Shaggy was finally like ready to lay down like some love. he was like, listen, like songs going on, like he's like imagining like going along with a baby in the carriage and puppies in the carriage with Scooby and the dog, like, and it's just ripped away.
But I don't think you can actually lay down love in a cartoon for kids. Just saying.
Not this type of cartoon.
Yeah, not this type of cartoon at least.
Hey, Austin. Chip redeemed impression time. He said Austin to do his best Daphne impression.
There you go. There you go. You happy, Chip? You happy with that one? That's all she does. No. Alien Invaders was interesting though because we finally got like, apart from like the whole like stereotype we get on aliens of like the little green men and everything, like this was interesting to say the least. It dove a little bit deeper into like alien mythology and everything, which I thought was kind of dope. So always appreciate it. Number 4 is going to be an interesting one because I don't know unless it's Greg that anyone else might know it. So this is be interesting.
Okay.
One of the earlier ones. This was back, I believe, when Shaggy and Scoob sat on their own.
Oh my god!
And he had the red shirt. This is Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School.
Wow, Austin, God, you are like really like pushing back into my memory banks on this one. Yes, I do know this one. Shaggy gets hired to be a PE coach at a school, which first off, that premise doesn't make sense at all. Let's be clear about that.
I don't remember.
Hey, it's apart from being a stoner, he's lanky.
He is lanky.
They might think that he works out.
Lanky. I'll give you that. Him, Scooby, and Scrappy, go to this school, and it turns out to be a school for the daughters of famous villains. I believe there's Dracula, there's a mummy, there's a ghoul, there's Frankenstein, and a werewolf, I believe. And then there's
Yep.
and obviously, Shaggy and Scooby are terrified the entire time because they're living in a mansion with real monsters. So that's the premise of it. And Austin, I was not expecting this. This is a very good pull on your part.
Hey, this was one of my all-time pulls from when I watched this way back when, because I thought this was just like a series of episodes from a show that I didn't know about, and it turns out that it was its own movie.
That's why I was like asking for the parameters on this, because there's like 2 other specific ones that are in this same realm that weren't direct to VHSs. They were like a special that dropped on a random, I think on like a random network. I don't know if it was ABC or something, but like that's why I was asking about this, because I think there's a difference between the two, but I'm okay with it because this is a great pull on your part.
Well, we also have to think, like, the villain in this is terrifying.
Yes. Also, and real magic, too, being involved in this, too, which is even crazier.
And also the fact that the henchman to the villain is a bean with tentacles, which is a little strange.
I thought it was like a morphed up spider or something like that. That's
kind of like you would think. Yeah. But I want to say, I got to look this up now because my memory's a little bit blank. But I want to say the villain's name in this. I know it starts with an R.
Oh, and I can't remember that.
School villain. That is Revolta.
Oh, she's creepy looking.
Okay, yeah. This was like that's where I get the spider thing from.
That's the spider. Yeah. But not only that, but we had a very interesting you could argue maybe the intro of the multiverse, because we had the mirror monster that was involved with this as well, which basically pulled Shaggy into the mirror and replicated himself in a more evil force. Yep. Like, it was really, really crazy. Also, believe Scrappy was also in this, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, all 3 of them were in this one.
So, this one was just too much of an old good one to pull. It's so good. I want to see if it's on HBO Max. I don't know, being how old it is, but I gotta try. It's so good.
Yeah.
This one might be controversial. Might be. Just because it's so awesome. Like these top 3, maybe not, maybe top 2, you could argue could go either way, because these are just 2 like soul favorites that I love so much. Number 3, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
I don't think this is controversial at all. I'm glad you have it on the list, in all seriousness.
Well, it's on the list, but I'm saying, like, between this one and the next one, you could argue maybe they're switched indirectly, because this movie gave us the Hex Girls.
Oh, can't go wrong with the Hex Girls, man. God bless whoever came up with the idea of the Hex Girls. They are like top tier in this one, and their music and their song was good.
Yeah,
too, which I was not expecting either, because that still bops to this day, actually.
The premise of this one, obviously, is they go into this town, and there is a festival, and what ends up happening is that there is a witch that is wreaking havoc on the town's celebration. They capture this witch. Turns out it's a fake, only for a real witch to show up later in the movie, which I loved, definitely. This witch made pumpkins grow tentacles and almost try to eat people, which was crazy, to say the least. It grew a turkey to the size of a locomotive, and it was like going after people trying to eat them. And you also had one of the most interesting secondary shock villains in like the whole movie series, and that, I believe, I gotta look it up now. Witches.
Vo has it up. It's Ben Ravencroft. Oh, voiced by
Ben
Tim
Ravencroft.
Curry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Austin, so this is cool. So I learned about this, like, I want to say a year ago. So Tim Curry's actually a huge Scooby-Doo fan. Massive Scooby-Doo fan. So Tim Curry was apparently also offered the chance to be the villain in the Scooby-Doo movie, the live-action one, and he turned it down. He refused to do it because he found out while he was reading the script that spoiler for anyone who's never seen the Scooby-Doo movie, that Scrappy-Doo turns out to be the main villain.
Yeah.
And he hated the
So
character.
that's why he turned it down.
He hated the character Scrappy-Doo. So when he was so excited to be the villain, and then when he finds out that it turns out to be Scrappy-Doo, he refused to do it.
Not only that, but the guy that played the villain originally was the guy who's Johnny English, which was like a weird pull that they would put him in there.
Yeah,
but
Ben
think
Raven, how
Raven,
much better that would have been if it was a live action Tim Curry in a Scooby-Doo movie. Come on.
So here's the thing. I argue I am in support of Tim Curry's decision because in my mind, aside from it and you have
what?
I'm trying to Steph's gonna hate me for this.
What movies that Tim Curry's been in?
Yeah.
Clue, Rocky Horror Picture
Rocky
Show.
Horror Picture Show. Thank you.
All right.
Aside from like those two, I think Tim Curry is a much better voice actor than he is an actor. Think about it. Think of all the characters that Tim Curry has voiced.
You're not wrong, Austin, but like his look is just like he's just perfect as like a villain. As a villain. Yeah. Yes. I
to put him in would be a little interesting. I would argue to say the least, but I do understand the fact that, once it's revealed as Scrappy-Doo, that whole persona of the villain just kind of sours a little bit.
It does, yeah.
So I get it. But going back to the witch's ghost, Ben Ravencroft, who is essentially just this guy that's helping, almost seems like he's developing a crush towards Velma and everything. Turns out that, this book that is all based on magic and warlocks and witches, Ben Ravencroft's dream is to try and become a warlock and rule over society, which is absolutely insane to say the least. I mean, this is a grown man and he's trying to rule the world.
Yeah, I will say that was a cool twist when it turned out that he was the real villain. I did like that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but he is from like the witch's bloodline, which is the only reason that he was able to even get a hold of the book and even be able to read it to release it.
It was
obviously
he's a descendant. Yeah, that's why he was able to do it.
Obviously, the witch wasn't having it. She's like, nah, like you released me. That's about it. It's done. Mm-hmm. So you going into that fact, having all of that play out in a single movie is excellent. Excellent, not only character development, but an excellent script with that, to say the least. So that's my reason why it's number 3. My number 2, I played the video game for this. It was absolutely insane. I love the premise of it. The technological new age, as it called. Number 2, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase.
Ooh. I also forgot about this one.
I forgot about all of these.
Yeah, I mean, no, like I know like a good bit of them, but yeah, the Cyber Chase I completely forgot about. This was interesting.
This was cool, right? Because the whole point they're going to, I want to believe they're like testing out this like Scooby-Doo video game that this guy has developed, and they end up getting sucked into the game and being tracked by this human-sized virus that is plaguing the internet as we speak. And I enjoyed every bit of it because in this movie, you get a little bit of everything. The first level is all on the prehistoric age, to when you go to like a baseball field, then you go to an arcade and a carnival, the Ice Age, like it's everything wrapped up, because for this, you technically mix fantasy in like a real world aspect. Like you would never picture like Scooby-Doo goes to, the Ice Age, or Scooby-Doo goes to, the prehistorics or anything like that. And it's brought to life in this. And I loved every second of it. I will say once, a couple levels and everything were going by, kind of figured out who the villain was right away. That was my one crown, because no one in my family could figure it out because they were a little bit younger, and my parents were like, I don't know, I'm just watching the movie. Like, and I was able.
You're like, I know.
Wow.
I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna hold it in, but I know it, and it turns out that it was correct.
Look at you being so proud of yourself.
I was very proud. I don't know how old I was. It must have been like 10 or so when I watched this, and I was like, okay, like this is dope. But Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, I loved the movie. I loved playing the video game. This was a frustrating like game when I would rent it from like Giant Eagle. Like they would at one point right? Like you had like the video game. You had like the video game and movie section.
Every
Like
time I went, they were out of the game I wanted. I would be so mad. It'd be like
because I would always try.
I
would always try to get like a game that was like rated M, and my mom was like, again.
I must have been the lucky one. I had Hollywood Video growing up, so that's just what I did.
Oh, I mean, Giant Eagle had everything that was, that I remembered from, you had the Eagle's Nest. Well, you remember the Eagle's Nest?
Yeah.
Oh, man, your parents, like, when you were really young, they'd, like, stick you in there with all these other kids, and there'd be, like, video games and everything.
You've brought this up many times before.
Yeah.
I did. It was a clinical part of my childhood. I remember it.
Yeah, Chip, our outside TV didn't have a VCR, so that's why I don't remember these movies.
Right, that makes sense.
But yeah, Cyber Chase to me, number 2, and the all-time number 1, no question, the greatest Scooby-Doo animated movie, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Talk about a twist, by the way, also in this one. And Austin, what I appreciate about all of these like movies too, every single one of them, they go in the opposite direction of, just with like, a villain that gets unmasked at the end. Every single one of them has some sort of like supernatural or like sci-fi type thing involved with it that makes it completely different, which I love.
Well, yeah, I mean, even that's how like the movie starts, because the Mystery Inc. gang no longer together.
Right.
They're all doing their own thing. Fred is, always with Daphne. Can't separate those two. It's too much.
Nope.
Fred, a producer on Daphne Blake's show that she does. Velma is the head of a library, and Scooby and Shaggy are they have like an airport job that is like, I guess, trying to put illegal items in customs. But they get fired because they eat all the food in the customs area. And it's like, oh, the guy walks in and they're all like giant bellied. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, we just had to get all the food in our bellies there, Chief. It's so funny. And the gang comes back together for a thing to build up Daphne's show and simply go on what you would call a road trip tour of mysteries, trying to solve all of them, trying to find something that's real,
right? Not
just another guy in a mask. Be careful what you wish for, because they end up going to this island that is inhabited of just zombies. That's all I can think of. Like, it is zombies that are roaming the area of an old pirate ship looking for buried treasure. And the thing about this I love is that they're not actually the villain. And that is amazing. It turns out that the inhabitants of the island are, I don't know how to even put this, royalty ancient cat people.
And you wonder why I think cats are evil.
That's true.
It all makes sense now.
Yep.
That stems from a young age.
It stems from a young age.
Right into your brain.
That's why cats are evil.
But, I mean, in the retrospective, they're also not wrong, because the pirates slaughter their entire people.
Yeah.
So they call upon this ancient cat god to grant the supernatural cat abilities.
Yeah.
And they turn around and slaughter all the pirates.
Right.
But the thing is, they had to remain there. And with that being, they were christened as zombies. So these people bring in outsiders to feed and to keep their youth and strength, which is, it's dark.
It is dark.
It's real dark.
It is, but it's so good though. Like I remember watching this like on Cartoon Network for like when they were doing like a late night movie special or something, and I loved it.
Do you know what I hated most about this film though?
What's
that?
Was that it was my introduction to crawfish, and ever since watching like Scooby and Shaggy eat crawfish, I was like, I really want to eat crawfish. And after I went to my parents, and I was like, I really want to eat crawfish, not knowing crawfish is a shell fish. Yeah. So they had to break that news to me. So this great food that they were eating the whole time, and I wanted to try, I can't even try.
Darn.
So, but man, it looked good.
You could do the You could do the all the cheese contraband that they ate though, possibly.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of cheese.
Austin, real quick, I have two outliers I would
honorable
like to bring
mentions.
Up. What?
Two honorable mentions, yes. And the only reason I do this is because you brought up Ghoul School, because I didn't think that was going to be part of this, but since you did, I have to bring up these two. Number one, Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers.
Yeah.
That's a great one because it's literally a treasure hunt during the entire movie with, I think, 3 different villains they have to contend with, which is awesome. And the second one is Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the Werewolf, where Shaggy becomes a werewolf and is forced to compete in a race in order to become a human again.
Yeah, you figure like the race part is a little odd. Like, why would that have anything to do with?
Well,
but I get it.
The backstory is like they lost their original werewolf, so they were looking for.
Yeah, and I know I know the story of it. It just, I get it. Maybe that's why it didn't make the list for me. I just figured like the other ones are such classics, and I could not ignore it. You know, also for the fact that you want to talk about twists in Zombie Island, the gardener is actually in the FBI.
It's awesome. Yeah. This movie is great just because the amount of twists that are in it are fantastic. So I will give you that.
Yep. Right when you knew that the girl wasn't dragged away, like everyone's like, jeez, oh geez, something's a brewing. Oh geez, like it's so good. But yeah, those are my top animated Scooby-Doo films. They're great. I love every single part of them. And now let's get to the great debate. Right quick before we get into the debate, I want to point out Chip's comment. A lot of slaughter for a kid's film.
Well, it's not shown, so it counts. It's okay.
It's true.
Use your imagination.
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They
had to find a reason for the adults to watch it with the kids.
Yeah, they tease it, they hint at it, so it's for everyone.
So, the great debate for us is actually a pretty interesting one. What is the best Scooby-Doo show?
This is going to be fascinating.
There's multitudes of them. I don't know. I think Grind Project is working tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
I think so. He hasn't commented. So.
Yeah.
He hasn't commented, so I'm just absent.
He did text me that, so.
I would like to go last, if that's okay.
That's okay. And I'm saying this, Phil, if he texted you that you had to work, why didn't he text you the order ahead?
You would think.
I will let him know. They'll do that.
That's
no, you're wrong, Grind Project.
That's actually smart. Next time he does that, be like, give us an order.
Yeah. I will.
Thank
I will
you.
Have him do that.
All right.
So I'll go first then, because I want to get mine out of the way, because I think it's a little bit more. It's not what everyone's thinking, to say the least. So let me just pull it up here and make sure that I'm saying it right. And yes, so probably one of the later ones, coming from 2010.
Okay.
This is Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
So I have never actually seen this series, to be honest with you. So I am curious why this one.
So, Greg, there's a lot of interesting things that you don't get in like the earlier films that you get in this show. Number one, this is the one where I said that Fred was a master trap artist. Like he wants to implant traps and everything. He even pointed out at one time that there's also a great amount of comedy in this one that's absolutely hysterical. They're out by the pool the one time, and Velma can't put on enough sunscreen to not get burned. So Fred was like, "Oh, we'll just put you in the way of the monster next time with the sun, and it'll blind their lights, so we'll be able to get them faster." And he's like, "Fred!" So, like absolutely hysterical. This also has an interesting romance angle that we never got between Shaggy and Velma. You see that Velma is starting to develop feelings for Shaggy.
But does she see it? Does she have her glasses on?
She does. She does.
That was good.
Sometimes, though, love is blind. So
there
my
you go
God. For that.
So sometimes she drops her glasses.
But
this
also picks up on like a bigger storyline of like this society that they're trying to track down and everything. And it happens throughout the series. Like it's a bigger plot because it's not just another show of them unmasking people. There's a bigger purpose for this show. And with all the other angles into it, it definitely cannot be the worst. It is 100% the best Scooby-Doo show.
Okay.
What do you got, bud?
Leaves Vo.
I'm between two, but I think one of them will make you more mad, so I might go with that one.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go with What's New Scooby-Doo
Okay.
because it was basically the version we grew up with. It piggybacked off like the original version. It was the return of
Yeah.
the show.
That's fair, because I remember it being on when I was like maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah,
I
it was on
think.
like Saturday mornings or
Yeah,
on the weekend
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, so like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
So
Here's the thing, though, too. Theme song by Simple Plan.
Heard it
that
live.
that was
Heard it
gonna be my
live.
last point.
Yep.
Heard it live. It was amazing, and they
You
are.
just spoiled my pick right there.
Yeah, they have no shame about it either. Like they went on stage and were like, "We made so much money from this song, so we're gonna play it no matter what."
Yeah. I was gonna say they added like modern technology into the episode, and then most importantly, Simple Plan had the theme song.
Can't go wrong with
So
that.
thanks for spoiling that.
You're welcome. It's my
appreciate it.
job.
Hmm.
A spoiler alert. And finally, Greg, what is yours, good sir?
There's a couple of different routes that I thought about this, and I'm gonna bring this up here for obviously Scooby. I'm not saying that it's the best one, but here's what I'll say: Scooby-Doo, Where Are You is obviously like what got me into it. I remember being 5 years old watching it on my parents' TV, and I loved it. The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is also underrated. It's very good, and they also made a movie direct to DVD for it that is supposed to like end the actual series because there was never a true ending for it. And
Right.
that was the one that actually had Daphne as the leader in it. So that was that's a new.
Surprisingly,
So
yeah.
Austin hated that one.
Yeah, so clearly Austin hated
hated
that.
that one.
But the one series that I remember fondly that came out around the time that I was growing up. I remember coming home from preschool and kindergarten and watching this series on
I
Cartoon
think I
Network
might
in the
know
middle of
what
the
it is.
afternoon.
I think I might know what
I
it
know a
is.
lot of people
Yeah.
probably are not crazy about it, but to me, I loved this series so much. A pup named Scooby-Doo.
That was the
Yep.
second choice I was
Yep.
between.
A pup named Scooby-Doo is so great. And the main reason is because every single member of the gang has such a fleshed out character in this too, which
Yep.
makes it so fun. Daphne is Daphne is a spoiled rich girl that always has Scooby snacks ready to order. Fred is like an obsessed conspiracy theorist guy who
Yep.
and the red herring thing is amazing too when I found out later on what red herring actually is, which I just love. Velma is a super genius and Shaggy's just this like, cool cat essentially.
It's basically their backstory
Yeah.
growing up.
Oh, and it's so fun.
And this was gonna be my point if I end up with
Go ahead.
this one. We learned Scooby's real name.
Oh, that's true. I cannot and I remember they also talk about Shaggy's real name too. I can't remember what the
It's Scoobert.
Oh,
Yep.
that's true. It is
Scoobert Doo.
Scoober.
Scooby-Doo.
I'm not sure what Shaggy's is. I have to look that one up.
I can't remember either, but like yeah, there was an episode where they actually talked about what Shaggy's like real name was, but I loved it. But yeah,
It's
a pup named Scooby-Doo.
It's interesting how like when most people consider like the best Scooby-Doo like show to be the original, how we were able to bypass that stereotype and make our way to other realms of the Scooby-Doo universe, which are amazing in their own rights. So that's really, really cool that we're able to do that. I mean, mine's still number one, so get at me. Greg, if you're obsessed with Scooby-Doo as much, you gotta watch it.
I might need to, yeah.
great.
I'm not as like familiar with any of the newer stuff, so
See, I actually was listening to the theme song of What's New Scooby-Doo when Greg before he came in, and then when he walked in, I was listening to Chip Skylark, My Shiny Teeth and Me. And he just sat down, put the headphones on, and started dancing. Like
it's so
it
great.
popped up on the
That
side
was-
videos.
Actually, that episode was the first time I ever watched Very Loud Parents.
that's a good episode.
Wow.
To
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, so
I don't remember what mine was.
that was also the Masked Stranger episode too, which put it over the top too.
That is nice. Oh man. All right. Well, sit right there. Don't go away. Because I gotta pee and we'll be right back with more Scooby-Doo content in the top 10 ranking of the evening. Stay tuned.
Let's dive right into sports, as I have strong opinions on that. Which college team could beat a professional team in the same sport right now?
Okay.
There is not a single answer that is better than the LSU Tigers defeating the Cincinnati Bengals.
Even if I know the pitch that's coming, every other part of me is still normal.
That's why it's frustrating for me, Greg.
It's like okay, if I know what something is coming, I know ahead of time. I still have to be able to do the action to get the result that I need.
Okay, so they won 3 games in 10 years with 3 rebuilds.
I don't lose at arguments. All
Especially about fast food, so yeah.
You will never walk alone. Guess what? Now you will. Coronavirus.
I barely touch my girlfriend's cat. The most I'd be willing to do is like just kind of put my finger on its forehead and just like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us is Alex Kazor from Steelers Depot.
We are live with Ryan Smith, professional cornhole player in the ACL. Ryan,
What all franchises were you able to work with in the NHL?
With Phoenix, Carolina, and Detroit.
So here is Moorhead's ranking. Moorhead is my cousin. He is the rank king.
Higher
Top 10 extra Power Rangers.
Oh.
Okay.
This is the top 10 emo songs of the 2000s.
There's only one correct answer for number 1. Why is F is for Family better than Futurama when Futurama is like Star Wars for potheads? Like
I know. So I think
We have one or two that are mad in the chat.
You're welcome for that.
Alright, we're gonna get banned.
All right, guys. So this top 10 ranking, I'm not going to lie, was a little difficult.
Aren't
It was
they
a little
all?
different.
I feel like every
Well,
top 10 for you for like the last month has been
some-
horrible.
Hey, not horrible.
Not
I
horrible,
enjoyed
not
doing
horrible, but
What?
tough to decide.
Tough to decide. Okay.
We don't
So-
say that in front of him, Greg.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, sorry. Sorry.
it. So the ranking for tonight are going to be the top 10 Scooby-Doo monsters.
And here's the other part I'm curious about. What did you take? Did you take these from like everything, like all the TV
So,
shows
it
and all the
would've been-
movies?
So it would have been extremely hard to have taken it from everything.
Right.
Most of these, I mean, they show up in different things, but most of these are from the Where Are You series.
Okay. I was gonna
Since
say because I
the-
feel like if you did the movies, that would have been a. Do you have ones from the movies on here? Just out of curiosity.
They could be, Greg. They
Okay.
could be.
All right.
So, I'm not going to go too much into backstories on this. I'm just basing them off design and how much they scared me as a kid. So,
There's one on here that really scares me now. still.
Really? Okay.
would it be the upcoming one, Bo, at number 10?
I mean, we'll see. What's number 10, Austin?
Number 10 is the Witch Doctor.
I was hoping the Witch Doctor's
not
on here.
that
He's a
one.
classic. He's a classic. He has a Funko of him, so he's gotta be on here.
It's just terrifying, man. Like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. And like, it just showed me like, oh my God, like, Jesus, what do you want? What? It's absolutely terrifying. The premise itself, I mean, the giant tiki mask, the staff, the fact that they said that he was like teleporting and levitating. I was just like, all right, something's going on here.
Something's fishy here.
Maybe this is like one of the ones where it's actually like a spirit or something. Like,
Yep.
but absolutely frightened me as a kid. Like, absolutely frightened me. Number 9. This is a 2-for-1, so to speak. These are the green ghosts at number 9.
Oh, I forgot about these. These are awesome.
Yeah, these you could argue like the first, like, Ghost was the But that was literally like an invisible sheet with holes poked. That's what every
Right.
kid wants to wear for Halloween. These guys terrified me because they
guys
had
were
the
cool.
chains.
Yeah.
They had like the shackle chains, like on
You
there.
can hear them.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely nuts. And the fact that there were two of them, you know, there's mostly like just one villain in this, but this tag team.
I think this is the first one I remember that had two villains in
Yep.
it. Now I think about it. Yeah.
This was like the first tag team
Mhm.
effort of scaring. Number 8. This is in the opening, just the still shot, and I had to put the still shot in here because it still terrifies me when I look at it. Number 8 is simply Charlie.
I was talking to Vo.
That's the robot?
Yeah, I was talking to Vo earlier about all the ones that I was like thinking of, and I was like, I don't really remember a lot of the specific villains. And then, but this is one of the ones that I remember because I do remember this, and I think it was the second season of Scooby-Doo. Where Are You? Where they like tweak the song a little bit, and I do remember this one. Yeah, but the weird thing is he never turned out to be an actual villain. It was just he was being controlled by.
Yeah, but we didn't know that he was even an android or a robot to begin with.
Yeah.
Because he punched through a wall, and I was like, okay, this is Jesus, this is an actual thing.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing. Like, I didn't know what it was. I mean, granted, if I watched it now, I could probably tell by the mechanics of like the movement and everything. But you know, as a kid watching, I'm like, this man just broke through a solid wall. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, the still shot, the face alone, no emotion to it. It's cold. It's calculating. It's brutal.
It's creepy. The eyes.
Number-
too.
The eyes.
Number-
That's what I was
Yeah,
talking
the
about. The
eyes.
eyes are creepy. Yeah.
Yep. Number 7 combines two fears that most people have. Number 7, simply titled "The Ghost Clown."
This would be the
Yep.
one.
Yeah, I remember.
This might be why I'm
I
afraid of
remember
clown.
this one. Yep. Is this the one too that like? Is this the one that hypnotized Daphne?
Yes.
Daphne or something? Okay,
Yes.
I remember this episode. Yeah.
This is like, I had to put him on here because he's actually one of the ones that got the better of the gang at times because he hypnotizes them. Like, he hypnotizes Daphne, hypnotizes Shaggy, like he hypnotizes Scooby at one point to make Scooby look like the bad guy, which everyone was like, "Why are you doing this?" Like, but yeah, he's just creepy,
Yeah, he's
downright
very creepy.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Clowns are
Good.
creepy, but if it's a ghost clown, like that's double the creepy.
That hypnotizes you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Come on.
God, yeah. Number 6, I couldn't believe this was the actual title of this thing. And when I looked up, I said, that's not what it is. And yeah, it is. Number 6, the Spooky Space Kook.
Austin, you are like really like delving into my memories on this because I had forgotten about some of these, and this one I had forgotten about too. But I remember this. I remember this now. Oh my god.
The picture's not very like scary to say the least, but when it laughs, the helmet glows a bright red.
Yes.
And it's like, why? Why do you need to do that? You're already like a dead Martian kind of looking thing. You don't need to add like synthetics or anything like that. You're scary enough on its own. But
You're trying to add flair to it, man. Like, you know, it's bells and whistles. You got to stick out from the crowd a little bit.
I guess. But absolutely terrifying. I remember this from like, I think this was in season 1 of Where Are You when this guy played out. Number 5, a very original icon. Number 5 is Redbeard's Ghost.
This is a classic. That's
Classic, right?
Yeah, it's a classic one.
Imagine, Johnny Depp loses his charm and gains like, 100 pounds and is a ghost. I mean, this is literally it.
Yeah, that's a great way to explain it. You're not wrong.
I mean, I for a while, like I was like, no pirates. No, for a while, no pirates after this episode. I was like, maybe not. Wake up the next day, watch Pirates of the Caribbean, and then all like
just came
Vietnam
flowing back,
flashbacks.
bud.
Vietnam flashbacks. Absolutely done, just terrifying. I don't know if you guys ever saw, there was a skit. I don't know if it was like ADSFF or whatever it was on the stick figures on YouTube. But it was like, what's your most, what do you fear the most? Like, I have a fear of backstories. Why do you fear that? Well, I got It's just classic, man. And that's just what I thought of with that. We're sticking with the C theme here, going into number 4. This is the ghost of Captain Cutler.
Oh my god.
Greg's about to
You are like really messing with me because there's just...
Captain Jay Cutler and put a little cigarette in his hand.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. Yeah.
He goes to steal. He's like, nah, I'm tired of this. I'm walking away.
Takes the helmet off.
It's like, I'm sick of it. Done. Divorce. Terrible.
No, Austin, I'm just like blown away because you're bringing back like so much because like I forget. About
I tell you, man, these were the ones that I predicted the most, that I love the most.
Yeah.
The obviously the aspect of this one that terrified, besides the fact that it's literally a sphere for a face, being that it's a submarine.
Oh, look, Grind Project. Thanks for joining the chat.
Oh! There he is finally. But the fact that he no.
I said, can't believe you didn't put him higher. Weak ranking so far. Boo. Keep them coming.
Interesting. I'll hold that in poor taste. But the fact that he glowed this like spooky, like yellowish green aura was like also terrifying. Like all the product of like the seaweed and everything that he picked up.
Yeah.
Now that's just like which you gotta wonder if he was in the ocean that he would be anglerfish bait at this point, but understandable.
The cool thing about this one too is that it actually ended up being the real Captain Cutler.
Yeah,
which was
that awesome. He wasn't actually dead. So it's like number 3, another iconic one. Might get a little sludgy, but number 3, we are going with the tar monster.
This one was cool. I will give you that. In terms of like the aesthetics and all that, this was super unique when I remember this episode.
You gotta argue if like this based Clayface off of the DC era and what that was.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
So I mean the whole aspect, you kind of looked a little crappy in like the movie remake. I wasn't too fond of it, but I get it. I mean the thing is not supposed to be, for us it's like almost like the mirror of Captain Cutler's like face helmet, whereas like that's an actual eye. I get it, but this would terrify me a lot more than the actual tar monster in the live action film. So
hey, before we get to the top 2, Grind Project said Austin's rankings are as good as Mason Rudolph as the future starting quarterback.
Gotta have a little faith, bud. Come on.
See, him saying that makes me the Ben Roethlisberger of ranking when he's Josh Dobbs on the sideline. So,
well, Dobbs is smart, so Foranger's like telling you what to rank, basically.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
what Dobbs does.
Ben always went to the sideline and went
pointers.
to Dobbs immediately. Yeah.
So
he's giving me pointers, but do I actually listen? That's what I'm getting at. So.
I mean, I would listen to an astronomical engineer. Is that what he was? I can't remember.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, he was.
The show
doesn't matter.
At
this point,
aeronautical engineer. That's what he was.
At this point, Gardner Minshew greater than Grind Project. Just saying. So we'll move on to number 2. This is a controversial one because most likely it is everybody's number 1.
Ooh.
I can't do it. Number 2 is the Creeper.
I do like the Creeper, especially because he was the first talking one too, and it's so
all he said was creep.
It was honestly like he's the classic, but I have a feeling I know who number 1 is, and it deserves to be number 1, Austin. So
I don't know, Greg. We'll see.
And
but the Creeper to me,
Project for 500 bits for Austin's weak comebacks. And you disappoint.
Fuel my fire, baby. Fuel my fire. The Creeper is actually one of the ones that actually looks more human than he does monster, which gave off this creepy vibe and whatever, hence the Creeper.
Literally in the name,
kind of like a giant person. Like,
it's like
basically that's all he is.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like the dynamic of it. They clearly like was trying to go with Frankenstein, but not with
Frankenstein mixed with I would say so. We argued, like Frankenstein actually being the scientist and Frankenstein's monster. I pictured like this mixing the two of them together, if that makes sense.
It's kind of like Frankenstein's brother.
I'll put this into perspective because I just watched a TikTok that had a guy walking in and he wants like, you have Coca-Cola? He's like, we got RC.
Yeah.
Drinks RC.
Like Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb, like that.
Yeah. Like this is the knockoff version of it, so to speak.
Grind
He's just missing a few bolts.
Yeah. Grind Project says he looks like a green Austin.
That's hurtful.
No, he doesn't have a crown on for him.
Yeah, and Creeper's got way too long of a chin, so that might be an issue. Like, yeah, Austin doesn't really have much of a jaw.
Hey, Austin, can you pose like him real quick? Pose like the Creeper.
Number one puts me into perspective of royalty. What does royalty always be protected by?
Yeah.
Number one, the Black Knight.
Yep. This has to be number one.
The Noble Knight.
This absolutely has to be number one. I think this was the very first villain.
Yes.
It was the very first one. So this has to be there. And it's the only, I think this is the only one that I actually remember, aside from Captain Color, obviously, because it was obvious, but I remember the actual guy who was the Black Knight was the Professor Hein White.
Yep.
Because of the way they said it. I don't know why, but it just like always stuck with me for some reason.
Yeah, being that it's, live action, I actually thought that one might have been a little more terrifying than this one, but the Black Knight is iconic in its own right, being that it's the first villain. Couldn't leave him off the list, and it was one of the first time when I watched Scooby-Doo, like this was the first episode I watched. Laid off of it for a little bit after this episode.
No, but good start, though, because this literally was the very first episode, so.
Yep.
Good call. Yeah, was it Zane says, what does this Austin guy do for a living? He ranks things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Things. That's his life.
Yeah.
All these bits you donate, that's how he gets food.
Yeah.
So keep him coming.
Keep him coming. Yeah. I mean, he's got a life to support.
Like sometimes he struggles if you have a rough episode. Like.
Yeah. I mean, so what if he has to put the cat to the pasture for all we know at this stage? Honestly,
he might eat the cat.
Yeah.
We never know.
I don't know how well that would taste.
Anyway,
I don't know how well that tastes.
These are the top 10 monsters. Obviously, you put yours on social. We'll debate whose is better. I think I kind of got this in a landslide. I don't know. There's a lot of monsters out there in the Scooby-Doo realm.
Yeah.
Maybe I slipped up. Maybe I didn't get one. Maybe
Austin,
you put
I appreciate the fact that you at least like kept with just villains from Scooby-Doo. Where are you? That I appreciate.
They're the iconic
They
ones,
are.
man.
So I give you a ton of credit for that. So that
I will say I was very stuck on putting one on this list, and that was the Puppet Master. Which in that one,
okay,
was one of the only ones to actually try to kill the gang.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he cuts a sandbag from a theater and it falls down and Fred moves out of the way before it. Yeah. That's hardcore, man, for trying to get a couple diamonds. Like, I get it, but
hey,
hey,
diamonds are forever, man.
Yeah, 400 said, just messing with you, buddy. Love you. Wish I could have seen more of the show. Good
know,
news for you, 400. The full episode's on YouTube tomorrow.
Yep.
So anything you missed, you can go back, watch
Literally,
it.
yeah.
If you want to
very true.
Critique every little pig Austin has, it's right there for you.
Until then, this has been another wonderful episode. We appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching, commenting, donating bits. You guys are the lifeblood of the show and what makes it go.
You give them food.
Yep. Honestly, if the cat has to go away, it won't be the worst. If the cat has to go away, it honestly won't be the worst thing in the world, in my opinion. So, hey, by all means.
Very true. So, I will say thank you again for everybody for watching. Tune in for next week's episode. We're always here 6:30 on Twitch to give you the best experience of ranking. Until then, thank you, everyone. Greg, take that mallet. Court is adjourned.
It's a gavel.